My name is Vina, aka Miss WOCReader, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my June wrap-up. So, June started off a slow reading month, but I slowly started catching up, and then that last week I kind of fell off with my reading again because I was more focused on revising my book. Made a lot of progress with revisions on that. Have about 100 pages left to revise, and then I'm gonna send it to some people to read through again. So that's an update on that end. I am splitting this video by starting with the physical books that I read first, and then I'm going to do like the ebooks and audiobooks. But overall, it was a pretty decent reading month, a lot better than the past two previous months, so that's also a great thing. Let's get into what I read. This Is Not a Ghost Story by Amory. So this was one of those that unfortunately made the month off to not such a strong start. This book, I wanted to love it. I was highly anticipating it. I obviously put it in a video of anticipated reads. Unfortunately, it just did not hit for me. Like, I knew it was not a ghost story going in, obviously, by the title, but it is a story about a man who comes back from the dead, and they kind of turn him into this celebrity, instantly give him a girlfriend because you can't be black and gay and back from the dead. Like, what? And give him a best friend and all this money, and really try to capitalize off of his name. I thought it was going to speak to that, but instead the book gets sidetracked and becomes more of this story about the woman hired to play his girlfriend. She is mixed race and she resembles more of her white side, so she has all these issues like surrounding being biracial and looking more white and not really identifying as black. And I feel like we got sidetracked and that took up so much of the story. And then there was like the complicated relationships between her and her brother that we ended up like kind of sidelining the ghost who came back from the dead, even though he did have an interesting story. And while it did tie all together in the end, it didn't necessarily feel earned for me. So unfortunately, This Is Not a Ghost Story was not a win for me. Also, it did the way that she does the chapters in here, I really didn't like. So for the chapters in here, they're formatted to be very short. So like you might have like one chapter be a page or like a couple of paragraphs, very short and choppy. I didn't love how it was formatted either. Like at first when I was reading, it kind of felt like I was just thrown into the middle of the story, and I didn't like that. The Ghost of Gwendolyn Montgomery by Clarence A. Haynes. This one was a really good one. I was definitely also anticipating this one, and it did not disappoint. So in The Ghost of Gwendolyn Montgomery, we are following Gwendolyn. She works like at this top PR company in New York, seemingly has made up this great life for herself after running away from her past. And then we're also following Fonzie. He is a medium and he's living in the Bronx. He has this ghost haunting him, and he's kind of in this love triangle with this ghost and his toxic ex-boyfriend. This is fun, this is fast-paced, very easy to read and quick to get through. Dives into some Afro-Latinx spirituality in addition to the powers that they possess. So if that is your jam, go ahead and pick this one up. This is Savvy Sheldon Feels Good as Hell. This is by Taj McCoy. And I had this one on my shelf for a while now. At first I pre-ordered it, came with a special fancy box and everything, was super excited to get to it, and then everybody started reading it and they had mixed opinions on it. I feel like a lot of the opinions were unwarranted. There were a lot of white women who were calling this book fat phobic, and I definitely disagree. with the fat phobic aspect. It was not fat phobic. What happens is Savvy is this plus size woman, and she has this boyfriend who secretly hates her, and he's just like, oh, you've let yourself go, you're not catering to me and my needs, you're catering to everybody else, because she does try to cater to everybody else and like help out her family and there for her friends, and she has a very demanding job. So basically he's just a baby who wants her to be like the perfect little trophy wife. And so he ends up breaking up with her to find somebody new. And she's like, oh, I'm gonna show him, I'm gonna get that revenge body. Because like what he said about her no longer exercising and stuff really kind of does hit her, and she doesn't dress like the way she wants to dress. This is more about Savvy's journey towards self-love. She doesn't absolutely hate her body. Like, you can love the skin you're in, you can love your curves, but also you can exercise and make great life choices. So again, I don't understand the fat phobic like comments that white women were making. Like, you can be plus size but also work out. So she was getting, like, it's healthy to do so. So she was getting more back into working out and physical type of activity that she liked. She wasn't just like hitting the gym and like trying to kill herself. She even tries like different stuff to see what she likes, because when she tried hot yoga, like there's this funny scene with that where it really didn't work out for her. And so she starts exercising, picking up tennis again, which was something she loved. Her love language is food. She loves to cook. So she starts to cook some healthier meals. She gets a new wardrobe that really shows like the true her. She gets a haircut, which is something her mom was like, absolutely not, that she does anyway, and really just like starts to feel good about herself. In the meantime, she meets this guy in her neighborhood who is a contractor, and he really likes her for who she is too. Now, the only thing I didn't like with their romance is at first she mistook him for a homeless man, and it's kind of brought up as a joke one too many times for me. We could have done without that. I thought this was overall a very decent read, and I think it'll make a really cute movie. They already filmed the movie. It's supposed to be on the CW this fall, so I am super looking forward to that, because I was reading and I'm like, I already knew it was going to be a movie, and I'm like, I wonder who they're going to cast as Savvy, because she is black and Asian, and I couldn't really think of any actresses that fit that profile. Amber Riley was cast as Savvy, so I'm like curious to see if they still have her be Asian or not. Like, because Savvy's also like black and Asian from Oakland, so that's a whole different vibe in itself. Like, the way her uncle talked in here, in particular, very much an influence of the neighborhood he like grew up in California. So it'll be interesting to see how they pull it off on screen. I ended the month reading this poetry collection. So this is Sweet Bone Girl, and it is by Esme Allman. So just for context, last year when I went to Jamaica with Book of Sins reading retreat, I met Esme there. She's Cindy's cousin, and she had been there already in the country working on her writing. So she talked a little bit about her writing. I started following her. This poetry collection is different from some of the more recent stuff I've read poetry-wise, because I usually read stuff that's like novel in verse, or it's telling a story like of the person's life story through poetry. This is just like different things that she was inspired by. Some of it was personal, some of it was prompts based off of other poems or like other story collections. So it was a very interesting mix. It's a little different reading it like all in like one day, like what I did, because you're reading like things from so many different perspectives, and you have like your more personal like poems here, and then ones like about mistresses and like different prompts. So that was very interesting. I will leave just a video of her performing one of her in the description box below, just so you can kind of get a feel of what her poetry is like. I have been really bad at kind of mentioning the picture books on here, although I've been reading a little, like, picture books on and off lately. Some months it's more, some months it's less. So I have two that I want to mention here. This is The Zombies by Justin Cologne and Kaylee Quarles. So Simon and Schuster actually sent me this, and they had sent me his previous book, The Quackin'. The girls loved The Quackin'. They thought it was funny. We had a good laugh at it. Justin was super nice too. He sent me like a book plate and a bookmark for that one. And he told me he would send me a book plate for this one too, so shout out to him. But this is just like a silly, fun story, perfect for Halloween, about these zombies that are flitting around the city. So I'm always looking for stuff like this for the girls, because they like this version of horror. Like, they really think like, oh, we're getting something cool and creepy. So overall, this is really cute. I can't wait to share this with them closer to Halloween. This one is Down on the Bayou, and this one was sent to me by Random House Kids. Thank you so much to them for sending this one to me. I really enjoyed it. Sometimes picture books can be kind of hit or miss, and I'm always like on the prowl for them because I have so many kids that I'm getting picture books for all the time. But I really liked how this told the story about a boy and his grandfather going down the bayou. There was some New Orleans history in there, some just overall Louisiana history in there. He was pointing out different flora and fauna along the way, so you're learning a little bit about the environment, different structures along the bayou, a little bit of slavery history, a little bit of history about the indigenous people and what they created in the community. So I thought this one was just really well researched, really well done. I mean, I expect nothing else from Glenda Armand. She is an educator, and she really understood the assignment here when it came to this picture book. Oh, and then shout out to Eliana Harris. Her illustrations were gorgeous as always. So let's talk about the ebooks and audiobooks. I read Hooked on You by Ida Barume, and I really enjoyed this one a lot more than I thought I would. It was a slow burn, don't get me wrong, but I liked the way she did the slow burn because she had a lot of mystery and intrigue to keep you busy while you were also watching the romance slowly unfold. In Hooked on You, we follow Orr and Daniel. Orr is an investigative journalist. She wants this big reporter position. I can't remember which popular New York publication, but she has to go do this report on this billionaire on his yacht before she can secure the job. It's supposed to just be like a fluff piece, but she quickly realizes something else is going on the ship, like just by the way that his employees act. Plus, nobody really goes on like a yacht trip out in the middle of the ocean off the coast of Australia because they want attention on them. Like, that's supposed to be your time to get away. Daniel is a newer captain on the yacht. He replaced the previous captain who nobody's talking about the reason why she went away. He and Orr ended up getting like pulled into this grand scheme that's going on while also slowly falling in love. Like, they're bonding, they're connecting, they're solving crimes. If you like a good BBC mystery, I think you would really enjoy this. It was kind of giving Death in Paradise vibes a little bit. I don't know if anybody has ever seen that show, but my mom is like a big fan of that show, and that's the vibes I was getting here. It was very good. I definitely would recommend it, and now it has me wanting to go back and read the previous book from the author that I did not get the chance to read last year. I finally ended up finishing The Improvisers by Nicole Glover. So what happens is I was reading it, and I didn't have enough time to finish it, then I went back to the library, then I checked it out again, then I was reading it again. By the time I was like getting to the good part, I had to go back to the library again. This time I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna just buy the ebook, and I did, and I decided to finally finish reading it. And it's a very slow start. So I would say it wasn't until like the 40% mark that I was like super invested in it. But I had a good time with this one. It was a little bit of a departure from The Conductors, even though it's set kind of in the same world. Not really, because we're following, like, we skipped a generation and we're following their granddaughter. And there's a dash of romance in here. She's going around with this guy, and they are investigating these disappearing and reappearing magical artifacts. She is a pilot with her own plane, so that's pretty cool. And overall, like, I enjoyed seeing the mystery unfold here. I read Along Came Amor, which was the third book in the Primas of Power series by Alexis Daria. This one was another anticipated one because I read and enjoyed the first two books. This was a little different from the first two. Like, for one, it didn't have that like book within a book or show within a show aspect that the first two have, but I will say I didn't even notice it at first until I was reading, like, I was listening to her talk about it, and I'm like, oh yeah, the first two did have that aspect. Like, the first one had a telenovela that they were filming the whole time, so we got to see like their romance play out, but we also got to see the romance on this telenovela play out. And then the second one had this fanfic they were writing together. I'm going to be honest, in the second one, and I think I said it there too, I did not read the fanfic part. I started skipping over it because that part just did not interest me. So it was no loss here. In this one, we are following Eva. And Eva is just fresh off of a divorce. She's kind of like the black sheep of her family. Like, her family really be trying her for no reason at all. Like, just extra harsh on her. They didn't want her to divorce, and they're really like concerned she's never going to find a man again, and blah 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 blah. You know how overbearing families can be. So she ends up meeting, I believe his name was Roman, and like, they instantly hit it off. They have like a one night stand. She doesn't think anything special is going to happen, and then she starts like messaging him like, you know, I'm here for a good time, blah 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 blah. They start sleeping together when they find out they live like both back in New York. Then she finds out he is the best man in her cousin's wedding. So while she's trying to keep this whole relationship on the low, they have all this excuse to be around each other now, and they're still trying to keep it secret. Like, she's really not trying to commit after having gone through this recent divorce, and he is just like one of those kind, gentle, like millionaire situation types who has all the patience in the world for her. Overall, I did enjoy it. Alexis Daria is really great at writing like intimate scenes. Like, she balances like the tenderness and the gentleness, but also knows like how to like write the like sexier like stuff, like the more playful stuff. I really enjoy it. Her stuff is not too wordy, which has been like an issue I find lately when it comes to people trying to write like spicy scenes. So yeah, overall this one was a really good one. I think the first book in the series is still my favorite overall, but this was a pretty solid series, so if you read the first two and liked it, I'm pretty sure you will like this one as well. I finally read The Ballad of Black Tom by Victor Lavelle, and this is one people had been saying to read for a while. They were talking about how great it is. I am not that familiar with H.P. Lovecraft's work. Like, I know the name, understand he created all these crazy monsters that we still kind of see show up in different works today, but I don't really know like anything else about his writing overall other than that it's rooted in a lot of racism. This was Victor LaValle's attempt at like remaking one of his tales, but starring a black man and addressing the racism in the world. It's set in the 1920s Harlem. It's very gritty, so it has good vibes. It's also very short, so there's not like a whole lot I can say without giving the plot away. Overall, it was decent. It wasn't like my favorite read. It's not going to be something I keep thinking back to, but I do want to check out more of Victor LaValle's work. I read Wanda M. Morris's Small Things. This was an Amazon original short story. I read by Wanda M. Morris before, although this was very different from what I read from her. For one, the characters in this were white, whereas in the previous like things I saw her write or like I read from her, those were black characters. So keep that in mind when you go in. We're following this woman who is in this abusive relationship, and we see the length she will go to free herself. So it was intriguing. Like, I overall had a very good time with this. Like I said, it was very short but engaging. I listened to it like through Audible. That's the nice thing about these Prime like short stories. They come with the audiobook and you can just listen to it and just take the story in. A very quick story. You kind of knew what was going to happen. It's just like, how is she going to do this? So yeah, overall quick, easy read. Like, only took a couple of hours in the afternoon. Had a good time. So that was everything that I read during the month of June. Let me know if anything I read sounds interesting to you. I will link everything in the description box down below. If you like this video, make sure and hit that like button. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!